Hello guys, I'm back with another tutorial in my JavaScript advanced tutorial playlist. So in the previous video I had started this playlist, and in that video I have talked about some of the operations that we can do in JavaScript related to a single value collection, such as a number collection or a string collection. So in that video we have actually learned how to get the total of an array, or like how to get the odd numbers, how to filter some of the values according to a scenario, how to sort the collection. So some operations like that we have learned in the last tutorial, and in this tutorial we are going to talk about some of the operations that we can do with object value collection. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the video. All right. So in my code, first of all, I have created this get function, just like the way I have done it in the previous video. I have just called that get function when I click the button. All right. So first I'm going to create an interface. So we can use that interface to create our objects, because we are going to talk about object collection. Okay, so we have to have some objects in that collection. So I'm going to first create an interface. Let's say student. So object is like so we can say object is not a single value. Okay, so I mean it can be a single value, but inside that object there can be multiple values. Okay, so it can contain multiple values. So object is a complex value, we can say, rather than a single value. Okay, so I'm gonna create a student object using this interface. So if I wanna have some values within that object, we have to define them in the interface. So let's say student may have the age, so we can define it like this. Age is a number, and just like this I'm gonna define some of the attributes that a student can have. So let's say name is a string, and let's say another thing, marks. Okay, so marks, actually we can have it as another object. Okay, so it's like this. So student can have multiple subjects. Okay, so therefore student can have multiple marks for those subjects. Okay, let's say there are two subjects, let's say math. So math, we can indicate marks as number, and again there is another subject called science, and science also we can indicate the marks with number. Okay, so every student have these two subjects, and they have their own marks within their objects. All right, so this is the structure of the object that I'm going to create. Now using this interface structure, I can create objects. So I'm going to create a collection. Let's say const is let's say class students, and this is going to be an array. So we can say this is an array of student. Okay, so we can say student array equal new array. All right, so we can actually now contain some of the student objects inside this array. All right, so in the I would say in the first object I have to now define the real value related to the first student object. Okay, so let's say first student is 16 years old, so I would say 16, and his name is, let's say, Max. Okay, so just like this I'm gonna quickly define some of the objects. Alright, I have created 3 student objects and contain them in the class student array. Alright, so this student array has 3 objects. Alright, So now let's see what are the operations that we can do with an object collection like this. All right, so first let's say I want to get the total math score of every student. All right, so I want to get the total of the math score. So according to this, 50, 85 is 135 plus 46, I would say 171 or something like that. All right, so let's say okay, let's see how to get the total of the math. All right, first I'm going to use this classes students array variable name. So this is how we can access the array. So I have to like get the total of the math score of every students. So I can use one of these functions. I would use let's say I would use the reduce function. Actually I just forgot the name for a minute. It's okay. So I can use this reduce function to get the total or some kind of operation like getting total. We can do those operations using this reduce function. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first define my initial variable. So this will indicate the total, and then I'm going to define a reference. So that reference will catch the current object of the iteration. Before we do that, I'm going to just cover these two variables within a bracket, so we can indicate them as a same parameter list to a one method. All right, so let's say t. So t will reference a single object of each and every iteration. All right, so in next we can define something like this. So I need to add every student's math score into that total. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say total plus t dot marks dot math. All right, so I'm going to assign I'm going to add all the math marks into the total variable. All right, so this is my reducer first parameter, and second I'm going to pass 0. I have passed 0 because I'm going to get a number from this reducer. So I have to like give the initial value according to that data type. So that's why I use 0 as the initial value. All right, so then I'm gonna simply assign the total into a variable, and let's print this variable tot. All right, let's see the output. All right, so I got 181, so my calculation was wrong, but it's okay. So the total is 181. That is the total of every student's math score. All right, so whenever, I mean, whatever the count of objects you have within this collection, you just only need this kind of logic. After that you can get the total of the maths of every students. All right, so then I want to get something like this. I want to get the let's say I want to get the math score of every student whose their name start with letter M. All right, so every student whose their name start with letter M, I need all of those students math score as a collection. So what I can do is first I'm gonna filter the collection. All right, so I'm gonna use the filter function. First I'm gonna filter all the students whose their name start with letter M. So I can use the filter function. First I'm going to define the reference variable. So this reference variable indicate the object of the current iteration. Then what I'm going to say is I'm going to say t dot name should start with letter M. Okay, let's assume all these students got their name with I mean all the students have their name with capital letter at the beginning, so we don't have to like check whether it's the capital M or simple M. We are just gonna go with capital M. All right, so right now I have filtered all the students whose their name start with M. Then what I'm gonna do is after this process, this is not going to be a total anymore. This is going to be a different name, but that's okay, we can rename it after. So first I have got filtered all the student whose their name start with them. Then I'm gonna, so with this operation I can get a student array. Okay, so I don't need an student array, an array of students. I need an array of, let's say, math score. So I need an array of numbers. I don't need array of student. So what I can do is I can use the map function to define what kind of output I want to get. Okay, so in the previous video actually we haven't used the map function in this way. I mean, we couldn't use it because since we have used single value calculation in the previous video, we couldn't use the map function that way. So in this tutorial we are going to use the map function in a different way. Okay, so let me show you that. So I'm gonna use map function, and in here first I wanna define the reference variable just like this. It will be T, or it will be R, or you can name anything. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say what kind of detail that I wanna get from this collection. So I'm not gonna get this collection as a student array. I want this as the math score array. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say I'm gonna map T as math. Okay, so now let's see, in the map you will get a number array. Okay, so this is going to be actually the collection of math score. All right, so let's see math scores. Let's print this. Right, you got 50 and 85. Okay, so let's see, these are the students that their name start with letter M. Okay, so that's why you only get 50 and 85. All right, I hope you understand that. All right, let's see what are the other operations that we can do. Okay, now do something like this. I want to get the student who's got the maximum score for the science. All right, so according to this collection, Max got the maximum score for the science. Okay, so how can we do something like this? Like before we do this, we have to think what are the options we have. First, what we can do is we can sort all the students according to their science score. Okay, we can sort but in the descending order according to their science score, and with that collection as the first member we will get Max because he got the maximum science score. All right, so first let's sort all the students according to the science score. All right, so I'm going to use the sort function. Sort. So in here, as we talked about in the previous video, we have to pass two consecutive values, and they will be they will be represent the objects within this collection. Then I'm gonna say so I want to I want a descending order. All right, so the output should be positive if I wanna get a correct descending order. So okay, let's try to do like this. I'm gonna say a dot marks dot science minus b dot marks dot science. All right, so let's first see what kind of collection we are getting from here. I would say sort. Let's see. All right, first we got science 66, science 72, science 76. All right, so we are getting the ascending order. So only thing we have to do is we have to just, let's say, b dot marks minus a dot marks dot science. All right, so this is what we have to do, and let's try again. All right, now we are getting the student who's got the maximum science. All right, so now we have to get the first value. All right, so we can say like get all right, so we can just say like this. All right, so we are going to define the index that we want to get, and with that we are going to get the student, and let's print the student name. All right, so if we got Max's name, then it's correct. All right, so we have got Max as the answer. So it means that we are getting the student who got the maximum score for the science. All right, let's jump into our next operation. All right, so just like this, let's try to get the student who got the minimum score for the math. All right, so we can actually change the same scenario. So we want to get the student who got the least score for the math. All right, so according to this collection, we should get John as our answer. Okay, let's see. So first we have to like sort all the object in the ascending order according to the math value. So I'm going to just switch these two variables, and let's use math. All right, so I'm not going to explain how this sorting mechanism is working, because I have already explained that how it works in my previous tutorial. So if you want to like get the idea how this sort mechanism really works, you can actually check out my last tutorial in the same playlist. All right, so with this sort scenario, we are getting all these students in the ascending order according to the math score, and from the first index we can get the student who got the least score for the math. All right, let's save this and let's click. All right, so like I said, we are getting the correct answer. So it's the John, the one who got the minimum score for the math. All right, so that's one thing. Okay, so let's do another operation. All right, let's say you want to get the average of the science score, not for all the students, but the student whose their name is start with M. All right, so a student whose their name start with M, we want to get the average science for only for those students. All right, first let's filter all the student with their name. All right, filter t dot name should start with M. So these are all the students with their name starts with M. And next what we have to do is we have to get the average of their science score. All right, so first we have to like get the total of their science score. So we can do you can use the reduce function. I don't know, I'm keep forgetting that name. So it's okay. Okay, so we can use the reduce function. So let's say in the first parameter we are going to say tot, and next we are going to define the reference variable. Then what we are going to do, we are going to add t dot marks dot science. We are going to add all the science marks into our total variable, and for the initial value we are going to pass 0. All right, so with this thing we are getting the total of the science marks for the student that their name is start with M. All right, so then this is not what we want the average value. So we can do something like this. We can get the length of this filter and we can divide the whole score from that length. All right, so what we are going to do is we're going to divide this value with the length of the filtered collection. Okay, so this is kind of complex thing that we have done. First we have filtered all the users whose their name is start with them. Then using the same collection we got the total of their science marks, and again at last we got the length of that filtered collection and use that length to divide our total score marks, so we can get the average. Okay, so now we are getting the average. Let's print the average. All right, so let's before we see the output, let's calculate our output. So these are the student whose their name is start with M, and their science marks, let's add them. 70 plus 60, 130 plus 12, 142, and 142 divided by 2 is 71. So we should get 71 as our answer. Okay, let's see what is the answer. All right, so as you can see we got the 71. Okay, so just like this, using these functions you can do different kind of operations regarding collection of objects. Okay, all right, so that's it for this tutorial. I'll be back with another tutorial. Until then, you can have a great day.